our analysis is that while we commend those who rise up against oppression and seek to extricate themselves from oppression and who hate the oppressor, that what is now happening in the Arab world also has an agenda that lies behind this. If you deny the rain from falling for long enough, the land will become parched and dry. And just one matchstick is all you need to create a conflagration that will burn down thousands and thousands of acres of land. One matchstick. That's what they did. The banking system in particular, the monetary system in particular. And not only that, but they're the ones who put these dictators there, and they kept them there. And they forced the dictators to act brutally towards their own people. They did that for long enough to ensure that the land becomes parched and dry and the people are groaning through oppression and they're longing to get out. And then they came with the match. And when they lit the match, of course the whole thing blew up. But they are the ones who planned the timing. The Arab uprisings are taking place now for a particular reason. It's not happening in a vacuum. It's happening because of a particular reason. We have reached that moment in time. My book, Jerusalem in the Quran, explains the subject. When stage 2 of Dajjal's mission is coming to an end. And phase 3 is commencing. In phase 1 of Dajjal's mission, the world experienced Pax Britannica, with Britain as the ruling state. In phase 2 of Dajjal's mission, the world experienced Pax Americana, with United States of America as the ruling state. We say these things are not happening by accident. If this can be by accident, a cow can also jump over the moon. No, there's a reason why Pax Americana replaced Pax Britannica. And now we say Pax Judaica, meaning a Jewish world order, Israel ruling the world. Pax Judaica wants to replace Pax Americana. In order for Pax Judaica to replace Pax Americana, what we have to do is look to see what happened the first time. In order for Pax Americana to replace Pax Britannica, what happened? Study that. And when you study that, you'll realize that money is one of the keys to the transition. Money. And so the US dollar will have to collapse. The US dollar is not collapsing on its own through any economic reasons. It is a controlled demolition job by the Zionists. They know what they're doing. And they have the Federal Reserve in their control, not the American people. And so 15 years ago, Imran Hussein is not a prophet. Imran Hussein doesn't have an angel or a jinn whispering in his ears. How could Imran Hussein say 15 years ago that the US dollar must collapse? Which I did. It's there. It's documented. Nobody else said that. No monetary economist in the world said that. But I said it. Why? Because I had Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. We have him as our teacher. So my study of Islamic eschatology led me to the conclusion, studying Dajjal, led me to the conclusion that the US dollar is not only going to collapse, but must collapse in order for Israel to take over from the United States. That when the US dollar collapses, it's going to bring down all the paper money in the world, because they don't need paper money anymore. and then the electronic money will take over. So now we are witnessing this. This is the moment that I anticipated 15 years ago. The US dollar is already finished, it's just waiting now to collapse, to be finished and to be demonetized. But not only must you have a fundamental change of power in money, but there was something else that happened between phase 1 and phase 2. And that is that the United States had to intervene to save Britain from defeat in the First World War. Britain was on the verge of defeat. The German submarines had marooned Britain. Britain probably had food for 2 weeks left. When the plan was worked out, they went to the British government and said, "You're losing the war, but we can help you to win it." And that's when the British issued the Balfour Declaration that it is the intention of the British government to work for the establishment of a Jewish national home in the Holy Land in November 1917. That was the quid pro quo for them to bring the United States into the war. And once the United States entered the war, the First World War, Germany was defeated. Okay? And so, not only did the United States have to wage big wars, but also the United States had to intervene to save Britain from defeat. And so it was clear to the whole world, Britain is no longer the ruling state. The United States has taken over. We can therefore close our eyes and anticipate that Israel is going to wage big wars. But more than that, that the United States has to be set a trap for the United States, where the US is facing military defeat. And if Israel does not intervene, that's it for Uncle Sam. And then Israel will intervene, like the United States intervened in the First World War. And then it will be clear to the world who is now the ruling state in the world. The Arab uprisings are meant to prepare the way for all these things to happen. I mentioned the destruction of the Arabs, the Hadith. The Arab uprisings are preparing the Arabs for the great slaughter. But it is part of the divine scheme that Allah chose them. Allah chose them that they would be the ones who would suffer, not the Malay. No, not the Malay. The Malay can eat his roti canai and go home and sleep. Oh yeah. The Arabs will weep. The Arabs will suffer. Terrible suffering. They've not suffered as yet as much as what's going to come. And that's part of the divine plan we have to say to the Arabs, that comfort their hearts. That you must be something special to Allah, that Allah should choose you. That you have to be sacrificed so that Allah's plan can take place.